Clouds with hazy sun on Friday with showers and rumbles of thunder possible. Good Thursday night, East Tennessee. David Aldrich, Captain Accurate here from the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center, where you can see a little bit of ground clutter around the Morristown radar site, but off in the distance, just to the west of Jamestown, lo and behold, some raindrops that we've been long waiting for. I've been waiting for quite some time. Just not going to cure all the dryness problems that we have. The Ultimate Doppler Radar, presented by A1 Fincham Heating and Cooling, focused on customer satisfaction. They won't quit until you're happy. Check them out at a1fincham.com. Now, surely there's more rain than just what's west of Jamestown. And if we expand the view and go over toward the Nashville radar site, yeah, there's a little bit more. But you'll notice it's kind of breaking apart, and it hasn't even gotten into Cookeville just yet. So it's going to be working its way here with about a 20% chance tonight and a 40% chance tomorrow. So if you get some rain, consider yourself blessed, consider yourself lucky, because there's just not a lot here to work with, as we've got a bigger storm system named Philippe in the Atlantic. So we're kind of got a collision, of course, of sorts, with an atmospheric traffic jam. We've got the front coming in from the west, and we've got Philippe going from south to north, headed toward Maine. I'll talk about him in just a second. But let me take a look at the bigger picture. You see how it looks like it's drying up? It kind of reminds me of when we have a celebrity throw in the first pitch at the baseball mound. And you know what happens all the time. The celebrity thinks they've got a good fastball, and they go, ugh, and it just kind of falls apart. It peters out before it even makes it to the catcher's mitt. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm pointing out here. Most of the light showers in the Nashville area won't have a whole lot of energy by the time it gets to, say, Knoxville or even Morristown. Now, there is more rain in South Texas. They've got some concerns to the far south, the little fuchsia area. That would be the purple areas that refer to perhaps burning concerns, red flag warnings, fire warnings here. But that's not our concern, but we will be watching a little bit of rain come in overnight. How much can we expect? Keep it on the low side. I had said 0.10 to as much as 0.25. Maybe can you find 0.25 on this map? Yeah, it looks like it's even harder to find. But there won't be much more than a tenth for most. So we'll take what we can get. But many of us are in the full-fledged drought conditions now. The new drought monitor came out today, and here's what it looks like. The yellow areas, level 1, abnormally dry, has expanded all over Knox County. You could say it was half of Knox County last week. So it now has moved into parts of Union County and into other parts as well. So Gatlinburg is now included, all of Loudoun County, all of Morgan County, Fentress County, you get the picture. And where it gets level 2, the light brown areas refer to moderate drought. That would be Decatur, Etowah, Cleveland, and into, say, Chattanooga. But it does include Maynardville. This is the map drawn from NOAA. They factor in soil moisture and a whole host of variables, not just what rain has fallen. But Tazewell, Rogersville, I'm sure you were dry, but maybe not as dry as some of the other areas south and west of you. Chattanooga, moderate drought. Huntsville, moderate drought. And it gets really bad. We're talking level 4, level 5 for extreme and exceptional drought in the Houston area and into parts of southern Louisiana and Mississippi. Things have improved dramatically for California, but all of us, I think, in those colors could use some rain. Tracking in the clouds, we have a lot of those tonight. It's going to be thick clouds, the colder cloud tops in yellow, and maybe, just maybe, a rumble of thunder possible between now and tomorrow evening. But the tracking of the clouds here show most of the moisture still trying to work its way through the middle part of the state, middle Tennessee, but not a lot elsewhere. Almanac, our high temperature hit 82. I was expecting 83. The normal high 76. No rain yet. Sun sets now at 7:14, so our days are, in fact, getting much, much shorter. We hit 82 in Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, 81 Maryville, Alcoa, and 79 today in Morristown officially, 75 around, say, or 77 in Jamestown, Crossville today. So we're talking mid-upper 70s in parts of the plateau. But boy, does it get colder tomorrow and then the next day. So if you haven't figured out yet, where's my jacket? I don't know where my jacket is. If you don't know, if you're in that kind of mindset, now's the time to start thinking about where that jacket is. Because 69, Paducah and Jackson, high temperatures there today. Just the canary in the coal mine. We won't get out of the mid-60s by Saturday. Watching the tropics, this is Philippe. At one time thought wouldn't do much. And then he started to get some momentum. And given enough time, and he's gotten a little stronger. And he's working his way north. Here's the latest update, 50. This was a 40-mile-an-hour storm. This morning, now a 50, 8 o'clock update Thursday night, so that's current, and it's moving north at 14. Where do I get that? That's at the top of the banner, just under the word Philippe. So it's moving north at 14, and by the time we move into Saturday, it's going to have picked up possibly another 10 to 60, and oftentimes with the Hurricane Center, it's not a criticism, it's just an observation that they can sometimes be underplaying or maybe a bit conservative with the intensity. If it says 60, if it was 65 or 70, wouldn't surprise me. So if you have family there, sadly, this is the time where they get a lot of tourists in what's called LL Bean territory, right? Many of us may have seen a catalog from LLB. That's up in Maine. Well, they may, in fact, have a lot of the leaves come off the trees prematurely because of the winds. And if we zoom in a little bit tighter, the track the Hurricane Center has puts a lot of the emphasis west of Halifax. It does hit Nova Scotia, but this could hit squarely in eastern Maine, and there will be enough rain to spread across Boston, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire as well, so they need to be mindful of that too. Let me show you the future cast for Hurricane Philippe. You see what I mean? There's lots of bands. It's raining in New York City, 5 o'clock Saturday morning, watching the wind spin in, and it's put heavy rains in Maine. But it's also raining in Boston. It's also raining in Vermont. So they'll get some heavy rains as well there. I wish we could get some of that rain, maybe what you're thinking, but that storm heads into Canada and really is not going to bother anyone after it hits the state of Maine, for example. 7-day outlook, we've got a new potential storm in that yellow area, 30% coming off of Africa. That could get the name Sean. And then the 7-day outlook at the Pacific, a couple of areas that's, I believe, an 80% chance south of Mexico that could become Max. Tropical storm Max, maybe stronger, but another 10% further west. As we look at the tropics, I mentioned Sean. It'll be followed up by Tammy and Vince. We're not done with the tropical season, I don't think. I think we'll continue that right through the rest of October. Storm Prediction Center does not, I repeat, does not show much in the way of color because we're looking at the no-label thunderstorms. It's the general variety in a few, and I mean few spots tomorrow, up toward Michigan, up toward New York, Pennsylvania, and south Texas. But here, the Storm Prediction Center does not think any thunder is possible. But given the data I saw just a couple of days ago, I left the chance for some rumbles. Saturday even looks drier, but again, any thunderstorms on the East Coast are more likely driven by the onslaught of Philippe, who's heading northward into New England. Our Saturday outlook looks beautiful. It's just a high of only around 65. Now, the rain here looks a little more aggressive, doesn't it? I mean, it's like the models don't know what to do or doesn't factor in the atmospheric traffic jam that is Philippe off to the right side of the screen. But still, if we get some rain that looks like this, it's in and out. Tomorrow morning, you might have a few drops. By Friday night, the bleachers may be a little soggy. May not be raining at your high school football game, but the bleachers might have some raindrops. You want to dry that off. But then Saturday, it's nothing but dry weather, and we go back into a dry pattern heading into most of next week. So we'll keep an eye on that. It is October after all, and it is the driest month of the year, typically, most years. So it's not anything too unusual. It's not what you want with the drought situation. Now, fog may not be an issue tomorrow. It doesn't show much other than the low clouds associated with some raindrops. But this is the future visibility to about 8:15, and then it starts to dissipate a little bit in terms of visibility. So not necessarily all fog. Could be more from a function of clouds. Overnight lows tonight. Can you believe it's dropped to 53? The new normal low is 53. I suspect 63 will be 10 degrees above normal, but that won't last for much longer. 63 tonight, more clouds, some spots of rain, winds out of the southwest if they're moving at all, 0 to 5. Tonight, 62 in La Follette, 59 in Wartburg. We'll be in the low 60s for Maryville, Alcoa, Madisonville, Tellico Plains, and say Wallen. 77 for a high in Newport and Dandridge tomorrow. 74 for Talbot, Morristown, Jefferson City, and 74 for Oak Ridge for a high. And 75, I'm going to tell you what, that may be closer to normal, but it's not the 80s that we've had as of late. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast. 65, we dropped 10 degrees on Saturday. But look at the low, 48. And then it's down to 40, and that's misleading because most of us outside of the urban areas of the valley, namely Knoxville, you're in the upper 30s. It's cold enough to see your breath if it's 45 or colder. And I know we'll be below 45 come Sunday morning. Now, if you sleep in, you go to late church, yeah, it wasn't that cold. I don't know what he's talking about. Well, you have to get up maybe 6 or 7 to really feel that 40 degrees. So you might be turning on that old fireplace, one of that's connected to a light switch, if you're lucky to have one of those. But we're down to 44 on Monday morning, back to the mid-70s. It warms back up, and Lo and behold, wouldn't you know it, Thursday, we're back to 81 degrees. It's like Mother Nature can't make up her mind. By the way, keep track of it all using the Captain Accurate Weather app. It's free. Go to the App Store, Google Play. It works great with your iPad as well. But you can get the best Knoxville traffic reports, bar none, by Pete Michaels Traffic. Just search Captain Accurate at the App Store and Google Play. Very thankful for Pete because he works very hard, as you know, hardest working man, oftentimes up in the sky, giving us those traffic reports. Anyway, my name is David Aldrich. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.